Senator Cotton, please.
General, what's your assessment on the state of the fighting between Russia and Ukraine and eastern and southern Ukraine today?
Senator, I think I would characterize it as the Russians aren't winning and the Ukrainians aren't winning, and we're at a bit of a stalemate here. And what has been the most interesting evolution for me in watching how the Russian forces have misstepped is really the lack of a non-commissioned officer corps. When I think about small unit tactics and how this has unfolded between Ukraine and Russia, I think the NCO Corps is a big piece of this, and I think the Ukrainians have that about right.
Who faces greater risk from a stalemate, Russia or Ukraine?
I think we have to take a wait and see approach on how this evolves and what is in the decision calculus for Putin and his generals as this unfolds.
And a stalemate, to be clear, does not mean an armistice or peace. It means continued but indecisive fighting in which both sides are losing personnel, equipment, weapons, and vehicles, right? I
think it's attrition warfare, and it depends. It depends how well the Ukrainians can maintain what they have going on with weapons and ammunition, and how the Russians decide to deal with that, either through mobilization or not, and decide to go with what they have in the theater right now.
Which side do you think at this point is more capable of generating additional combat power in the form of trained and motivated troops, Russia or Ukraine?
Ukraine.
Even though it's 1/3 the size of Russia?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because I think the Ukrainians have it right in terms of grit and how they face the defense of their nation. I'm not sure that Russian soldiers from the far-flung military districts really understand that.
Fighting to defend one's own home from a war of aggression is a highly motivating factor, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And Russians probably are not terribly motivated to be the next wave of recruits into Vladimir Putin's war of aggression?
I would say not, based on what we've seen.
If that's the case, and this stalemate, as you call it, continues not just for weeks but for months, which side do you think faces the greater possibility of a decisive breakout? The Russians with their ill-trained and unmotivated troops, or the Ukrainians with their supremely motivated troops?
Senator, I think right now with the stalemate as it stands, if Russia doesn't declare war and mobilize, this stalemate's going to last for a while, and I don't see a breakout on either side. If they do mobilize and they do declare war, that'll bring thousands of more soldiers to the fight, and even though they may not be as well trained and competent, they will still bring mass and a lot more ammunition.
What are the prospects of a catastrophic collapse of morale and will among Russian forces?
Remains to be seen. I think the Russians still are a learning organization. If appropriate lessons could be applied with leadership, you might see that turn around.
Do you know the current count on how many generals have been killed in Ukraine on Russia's side?
I think the number is between 8 and 10.
You know how many generals we lost in 20 years of war in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Not many.
And those we lost were happenstance, right? The bad guys got a lucky shot at a convoy or a helicopter?
Yes.
Does the fact that Russia is losing all these generals, and as you pointed out, they have no trained NCO corps, suggest to you that these generals are having to go forward to ensure their orders are executed in a way that General Berrier never would have to go forward if he was in a combat command, because he could count on the captains and the lieutenants and the sergeant Berriers to execute his orders?
Yes.
Sounds to me like the balance of forces here are moving more decisively in Ukraine's factor and will continue to over time as long as we continue to support them with the arms and the intelligence that they need.
Well-led forces that are motivated and have what they need can do a lot.
Thank you.